Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and this is day 4 of the list journal course that I'm running for free over here on my channel. It's a very laid back course. Here is the prompt list. I am not necessarily doing this daily. I often save up all my journaling for 1 day a week or 2 days a week, that kind of thing. So I did 4 pages in 1 day, was super inspired that day. And this is day 4 where the prompt that I'm choosing is books. And so with the prompt list, you can download that either from my Instagram page or from my Patreon page. All the links are down below in the description box where you can find that. And you don't have to do the prompts in order. I'm not doing them in order, and you can definitely swap out prompts and choose your own and do whatever inspires you. So today, we're looking at books, which is one of my favourite things in the world. Love reading, always have ever since I was a kid. And with the list course, I am writing a list of 5 things, but you can write a list of anything from 3 to 10 to 20 to, if you want to write a list of 100 books that you love, you could definitely do that, or books that you want to read. These prompts are just jumping off points. You can take them wherever you want, and I sort of did a combination. I did some of my favourite books that I'm currently liking, books that I'm currently reading, books that I want to read. And I mean, I could have gone on and on with this list, but with this course, I'm limiting myself to five items. And that's just a really doable thing for me. I hope it's really doable for you as well. No pressure to have to write a whole paragraph or fill pages with writing, just a list. And it's amazing, these lists, it's just a little practice, even if it takes, just 2 minutes a day. You just take this time for yourself and just reflect, spend some time reflecting, thinking about the prompt, and whatever you put on the page, it records where you were at that moment, what was on your mind at that moment for those things that you listed. And so, nice easy introduction to journaling. So basically, I've got a whole bunch of bookish ephemera that I've been collecting. The page on the left, that came from a pack that I found in a vintage store, and it was just like a paper pack, and I really liked this one here. I've got a couple of stickers and some cutouts from Daphne's Diary magazine with those illustrations, and then this green journaling card that's from my printable kit that goes along with this course. That is available to my Ruby patrons. Every month I release a printable kit for my beautiful rubies, and so I thought I'd pair it with this course and create I think it's a 15-page kit that goes along with this course, and you'll see me use the printables throughout my journaling pages for this course. And so that worked really well. And I'm just trimming this page down to size, and I'll just glue that directly onto the page, and then that page is done, pretty much. Nice and easy. And then I chose this page here because of the quill. Writing, words, books, reading, all ties in together. And I'm choosing that green journaling card because I thought that worked well with the green of the feather. And then this piece here, I wanted to include everything, but I realised that wasn't going to happen. So I just included the pieces that seem to work well with that quill, the colours in that quill. So that top right-hand piece in the corner on the right-hand page, it also has a bit of green, a bit of blue, that ties in with the feather. And I just go about sticking these pieces down now. Very simple page it ended up being, but I like it. I like how the colours all work together, and each of the pieces I really like. I will chat about now the books that I wrote down on my list. So the first one was Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller, and you may have heard me talk about this book before on my channel. It is my all-time favourite book. I discovered it back when I was maybe 20 years old, and it's the tagline of it is non-religious thoughts on Christian spirituality or something like that. And when I read this book, it was the first time that it felt like I read a book that was just made for me from a perspective of a person's real life. Like up until that point, I kind of read a lot of fiction. I grew up reading fiction, and in my 20s is when I really got into non-fiction. And I guess this may have been my first memoir type of book that I read. And ever since then, I have fallen in love with memoir. Memoir is one of my favourite genres. I love learning, and I love learning from people's lived experiences. And when people can share their journey and what they've gone through, I just love hearing all about that. And so this was Donald Miller writing about his struggles and journey with Christian spirituality, he calls it, and it just really mirrored a lot of the thoughts that I was thinking at the time. I often had struggles with the way Christianity was lived out, or the stereotypes and the way church was done, and mission and thoughts about heaven. I had sort of different ideas about it, and he was the first person that I read that was like, it was like reading my own thoughts back to me. And it was like so very comforting to know I wasn't the only one who had these thoughts. And since then, obviously, I found many other people who have the same sorts of thoughts that I do. But, at the time I felt very alone, very confused, very, just very afraid to share what I was thinking and all that kind of stuff. And now, I'm all about it's okay to have questions, it's okay to have doubts, it's okay to wrestle, it's okay to struggle, and we can talk about it, and it's all okay. Anyway, so when I read that book, it was sort of life-changing for me, because I realized that was the type of book that I wanted to write. And from then on, all the books that I've written have been sort of memoir books, and books about what I've gone through and what I've been learning. And the book I'm currently writing this year is definitely a memoir, and in that style of just being honest about my struggles in life, and with mental health, and with well-being, and with God, and with myself, and with others, and with all sorts of things. So with existence. And I hope it's a comfort the way that Blue Lake Jazz was a comfort to me. The next book that I wrote down was The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. One of my all-time favourites as well. It's like a memoir. It's very inspiring to me. And I'm just pausing here because I realised that I should have put this Day 4 label on top, and that Day 4 label, that's a freebie that comes with the course, and I'm showing you that now. All of these pages here, these are freebies for the course, just so you can have something consistent. I'll be using it throughout my pages, so like Day 1, Day 2, Day 3, so on, and the prompts are all written down there too. I thought I was going to put the book prompt there, but since I've already got this giant page here that says books on the left, I thought, we don't really need to put the prompts there. The last lecture, very inspiring. I love the unique perspectives and practices that Randy put into place about, embracing failure, and it's okay to spill things in a car because a car is meant to be lived in and used. I love that, all those kind of things. So anyway, the next book I wrote down was Phosphorescence by Julia Baird, and that's a book that I read this year. You probably heard me talk about it if you've watched my channel this year. It was definitely a book that has helped me, a book about the things that sustain us in dark times. And, sometimes I go through dark times, and often it's self-inflicted just through my own mind. And just knowing that there is so much beauty all around us, and pain worse than mine in the world, knowing that just really helps me to get out of my own limited mind and to wake up and see the beauty, and to help others who are suffering. And I hope my book that I'm working on this year is a book of beauty, and a book that helps people who are suffering. So, I really, really enjoyed that book, and it's kind of inspiration for my own book. The next book is Waymaker by Anne Voskamp. I'm currently reading that one. I'm almost finished. I've got not that many pages left at all, but I really enjoy that book too, about how the things that are in the way, those mountains, those struggles, those fights and battles that we face, those challenges, those trials, those things that are in the way, those are the things that are making the way. Those are the things that make us who we are. Those are the things that give us our impact in the world and help us make other people's lives a bit easier because of the struggles that we've been through. So those things that are in the way, I try not to get frustrated at them, and I try to just embrace them and appreciate them and be thankful for them, because I know that they're making me who I am and they're making me have a better impact in the world. So I'm just going to loop this video because I got more books to share. So yeah, Waymaker, really great book, and I got so many wonderful notes from it I was writing down. And another book that has inspired my book that I'm working on at the moment too, about how we are here to be together and go through all the ups and downs of life together, and that we don't have to hide our struggles and we don't have to hide our pain. And it's often when we hide that pain that we struggle most. And it's the loneliness, it's the aloneness, the feeling of being alone that is often so hard about being a human. But if we can go through all of it together, it's much more beautiful. It's a much more beautiful thing. Anyway, so love that idea that God is always with us. It's that witness. He is always together with us. And this interesting thought that I've been thinking about recently, that the very first thing that God said wasn't good. Like he created everything and it was all good. He saw that it was good. And then the first thing that wasn't good was when people were alone. And it's like, wow, I wonder if aloneness is the root of everything that is bad in the world. You know, a lack of love, a lack of connection with people is what causes that cruelty and malice and not treating people well, and isolation and judgment of people, being judgmental of people. And, you know, to have to be together and with people means to, you know, care and love people. And so that's an interesting bit of a theological thought that I'm wrestling with at the moment. And I want to go through the Bible again with that lens of, does all of the badness in the world just stem from aloneness? Is that what we're combating, the aloneness? And that's a whole big idea that like incorporates all of it. But it kind of makes sense in my head, like God is love and God is good, love is good. So the opposite of that is, you know, absence of love, absence of God, absence of togetherness, which is aloneness. Anyway, something to think about for me. Anyway, and that ties in, actually, I'll mention another book I'm currently reading at the moment. It is called, let me just see it. It's got a bit of a longish title. First We Make the Beast Beautiful. I shared that in my holiday haul video by Sarah Wilson. And as soon as I started reading it, I am loving this book. I'm so glad I got this book. It is another book that I'm reading. It's about this lady's journey with anxiety. And I'm just like, wow, she's writing all these things that I have thought as well. So good. I will talk about this book later on my channel, but it is so good. It's such a good book to know that I'm not alone. And that's one of the first things she writes in the book, is that she wrote it about so that she wasn't so lonely. And, you know, she thinks everyone is just lonely in the world, and that hopefully this book helps people feel a little less alone, especially those with anxiety. They can feel especially alone. It's like, I wonder if that's just the biggest thing, is that everyone just feels alone or is afraid of feeling alone, and everyone's just lonely, trying to combat that in some way at the very core. Anyway, so I am loving that book, really, really, really loving that book. There are so many things I've written down already about it, and I've been journaling about it, and I love, love, love it. And again, another book that's just come into my life at the right time, I feel like, for inspiration for the book that I'm writing as well. And I really do hope my book will be something that people can flip through the pages and they just see themselves. They go, oh my gosh, you think that too? Wow, someone thinks the way I do. And I really hope that. You know, anytime I think, actually, side tangent, you know how I talk about this a lot, and I've just come to like a little revelation here. I get so many comments from people saying they struggle with creating junk journals and art, because they feel like they're doing it bad, they're doing it wrong, and that people won't like it, and they're so scared of sharing their work. And I've never been able to relate to that in my own creativity, because when I create, I don't care what people think. I'm just having fun and I'm creating what I like, and I'll share it with everyone because I'm just so happy that I created it. I'm like, here, look what I made. And if you don't like it, it doesn't faze me at all because I love it. But I've just realized I can relate, actually, because when it comes to my writing, that I get very intimidated about sharing. When people ask to see what I create, I'm happy. Here, look at this picture, look at this journal, go for it, look at it. When it comes to my writing, when people ask, can I read it, I'm nervous, and often I will say no. I don't want you to read my writing because it feels too personal and too exposing, and I don't want people to read. Like when I show people my journals, I'm happy for them to see the pictures and the decoration, but I tell them, don't read it though. Don't read the words. And I've just realized that. So writing for me is my creative outlet expression, where I am actually very scared of what people will think. I'm afraid of judgment. I'm afraid of it not being good enough. I'm afraid that my writing isn't good. The way that I hear other journal makers and creators talk about, they're afraid that their art and that their journals aren't good. I get it now. I feel the same way with my writing. Okay. And so I'm saying this so that I hope you understand where I'm coming from with my fear of showing people my writing and my fear about this book. Like, I know I'm writing it for me. I need to write this book for me. But I'm really worried that other people will just be like, that's nothing, like I read it and whatever. Those words didn't make any impact on me. And so, yeah, oh my gosh. And what I always say to people who are afraid to create and share their creative work, just do it because you love it. Do it because you need it. Do it because it's helping you. Don't worry what other people think. If it's helping you, then it's got value. And if you're creating from your heart, it has value. And I got to, I guess, tell myself that, this book helps me. This book has already helped me writing these words, being able to see myself on the page. And I always say this anyway to other people too. I just trust that when you write from your heart and share from your heart, it will have an impact. You don't even know how it will have an impact, but if you do that, it naturally will. That's a natural consequence of that. So I just have to keep reminding myself of that. But just letting you know, being up front here, I'm very nervous and very scared that my book will be nothing that anyone gets anything out of. And I guess that's okay, because as long as I got something out of it, it still has value. Anyway, but as a writer, you want it to have an impact. You want your words to actually mean something. You want your words to connect with people. And I'm afraid that it won't. But anyway, that's just my fears. Sharing some vulnerable fears with you guys. I'm feeling very anxious in my chest sharing that, because I just realised that's something I'm afraid of. Okay, anyway, but we are all afraid of things, and it's okay to talk about our fears. Good. Anyway, so the last book that I wrote on my list here is called Notes to Myself by Hugh Prather. And Sabrina, my course teacher for this book, she introduced me to it, and I read the free sample on Amazon, and as soon as I read it, like, I was in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this book is amazing. This book is everything. And I really want to get it. But I have this rule where I try not to buy books. I try to either just borrow them from the library or from friends, and not buy books because, I've got too much stuff and my money could be better spent elsewhere. So if I could get them for free by the library or borrowing from friends. But my sister last year, have I told you this? I went to visit my sister, like I do every Christmas or whatever, and she told me that she's a big book reader too, and she said that she will read books from the library throughout the year, and then she will choose her top 3 to 5 books, I can't remember how many it is, from the year, and she will purchase those. And those were the books that she loved and that she will reread, that kind of thing. And when she told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. So now I'm sort of doing the same. I will continue borrowing books from the library and from friends and whatever. I'll choose my top 3 to 5 and allow myself to purchase those ones. And, you know, if I find a cheap book from the op shop for $3, I'll get that too. Like that book that I got, First We Make the Beast Beautiful. And I'm so glad this is a book I'm so glad to have a copy of and own, that I will go back to, and oh my gosh, I love it. So this book notes to myself, I know already that is a book that I want to own, and yet I still feel like I can't buy it. Like, I know, I found, you know, I know where I can get it from. There's a copy on eBay. I can get it from any bookshop, really. And I still can't bring myself to buy it yet. It's really weird. But, yeah, anyway, I'll get there in the end. I think I might buy it for my birthday. Maybe that's what I'll do. But I'm really keen to read it. And again, inspiration for my book that I'm writing this year. And yeah, we're getting to the end of this second loop, so I will end it there. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear your top 5 books, and hope you're enjoying this course and doing your own pages. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys. A big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in July. I literally cannot do this without you, so it means the absolute world to me. If you would like to support me for the month of August, feel free to head on over to my Patreon. The link is down below in the description box, and that is where you get access to extra videos, the Make a Journal With Me series, and the sneak peeks to my journals and creations and first access for all of those, plus printables, every digital kit in my Etsy, and mail tiers, and lots of fun goodies over there. You are also welcome to donate through PayPal or buy me a coffee as a once-off thing anytime. Thank you so much for all of your support and for being here with me on this creative